Oh, I'm very, I'm very overlit. Let's see. All right, sorry I'm so overlit, but I just got a package and it's the books that I bought, or some of the books that I bought in Ohio when I was in Ohio back in July. And I don't usually do book hauls, but I was always planning on doing an Ohio book haul because Ohio is one of those special times where I buy a lot of books. So let's open this first box now, but there's another box coming. I hope it's not lost because this one came first. This one is much smaller, so I think that one probably just is taking longer to get here. So here's a box of books, a little preview. I opened it from the bottom. These are all books that I bought in Ohio. These are all books that I bought when I was not on my Read What You Own challenge, not on my book acquiring ban, which I am on now, which is really just my Read What You Own challenge. But let's go over these books in this box, and when my next box comes, hopefully we'll have better lighting. The first book that you could see from the back is Douglas Adams, and it is a copy of So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. I'm not going to remember where I got any of these, but I got this one because it was a really good copy and I really liked it, and I don't have a lot of hardcover copies of this particular book. So this is not going on my TBR. All these books are already on my spreadsheet, or the vast majority of them are. I'll have to double check to make sure all of them are. Ooh, next we have Not Under 40 by Willa Cather. See, this is what I thought was going to happen. I don't remember what I got already, so that's exciting. I have read one or two Willa Cathers and I really enjoyed them, so I wanted to read more. Same with Edith Wharton. This is The Touchstone, a novel by Edith Wharton. This one looks really cool. I've read a few Edith Whartons, but I'm always happy to expand my collection. Next we have Under the Jaguar Sun by Italia Calvino. This is actually not a book that I got in Ohio. This is a book that I brought to Ohio, but I didn't want to carry back, so I ended up shipping it back to myself. We might find some of those in here. Still, it's like a new book. It's so exciting. This is a similar story to that, which is The Swimmers by Julie Otsuka. I got this year for my birthday in 2024 on my birthday book buying trip. I've read my first Julie Otsuka in 2024, so I'm excited to get to this one. It's one that I brought with me to Ohio thinking I might have a time to read, which I did not. And here it is back at my house. Same with Fences by August Wilson. This is a play by August Wilson. I think it has something to do with baseball. And I have just heard good things about August Wilson's plays in general. He was a Black American playwright, so I would like to read more of his work. So this one, the next book, is Significant Others by Amistad Maupin. So this book I got while I was there because I had just read or was reading the fourth book in the Tales of the City book. This is the fifth book in the Tales of the City books in the series. And I really, really wanted to read this one. I know what it was. So I had the fourth one and I have the sixth one, but I didn't have the fifth one. So I saw this while I was away. I had just read in June the fourth book and I really wanted to move on to this one, but I couldn't fit it in my bag. So I ended up sending it, and I'm only getting it now in November. But what happened was a month later, or in August, maybe even later in July, I found the coverway that I actually really like of Significant Others, and I read Significant Others. So this book I did buy, I did haul, used obviously, but I can just go ahead and unhaul it because I have another copy of this one. I'll see how far along some of my friends are in this series and offer it to them first, but if not, I'll just put it in a little free library. The next book is a British library crime classic, The Christmas Card Crime and Other Stories. So this is a short story collection of, usually these are Golden Age mysteries, and these are by various authors. Carter Dixon I've heard of. Oh, John Bood. I've read a John Bood novel. I just love these British library crime classics, and I try to pick them up when I see them, and it's good timing. Maybe I'll read this one around Christmas time. Yoko Tawada's Portrait of a Tongue is another book that I actually brought with me to Ohio. This one is like a really interesting format. I was thinking that this one would be a good one to read while I was there, but I didn't get to it. Pedro Paramo by Juan Rulfo, translated by Margaret Sayer Pendon. I don't know where Juan Rulfo is from. Obviously, it's translated, or I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's translated from the Spanish, but I have heard good things about this particular work. While I was in Ohio, I picked up another August Wilson play. This is The Piano Lesson. I think this is his most famous play, and Fences is probably his second famous. Oh, I forgot about this one. I got this book of the essential haiku versions of Basho, Busan, and Issa, so I have read quite a bit of their haikus, but this one looked really interesting and is divided by like the author and the poet, and it has a lot more, I believe, like information about the authors than I have previously read. And the last book in this box is A Case of Exploding Mangoes by Muhammad Hanif. This was longlisted for the Booker Prize back when it was the Man Booker Prize in 2008. That's part of the reason that I got it for my ongoing Booker Prize project. But I've also heard good things about this, and I'm always interested in mysteries that are either not set in America or England, or mysteries by authors of color. So I'm super happy to have this one. So that's the first part of this Ohio book haul, only 4 months late or whatever, which I'm totally fine with. My friend was very kind to send me the boxes. I packed them up, but I wasn't able to send them before I left. So I'm super happy that they got here, and it's like a little present. So lucky me. When I get that other box, again, cross your fingers that I get that other box. When I get it, I will come back and finish up this video. I'm back, and I did get a big box. Hold on. So I did get my big box from my friend. These are books that I got in Ohio. I've already done the intro to this. It's not as heavy as I thought it was. I remember it being like unpickupable heavy, but it's not quite that heavy. There's a couple things in here that are not books, I think, as well. The first of which being a sweatshirt, because I had brought this to Ohio with me on the plane, but then I didn't wear it and I didn't want to bring it back. I also have a paper bag. Who knows? I've got some dishes that I bought. These are little Fiestaware mini bowls. I love these mini bowls. We use them all the time for various things. I have 4 here, but I think I got 11 of them, and then 5 went to my friend. Okay, oh, I forgot about this. This is exciting for my husband. These are mostly basketball, I think, in this particular one, but also baseball cards, and then also a box of cards as well. So that's fun. He'll be excited about that. Okay, wait, what's this? This is something else. This is really heavy too. Oh, this is a very funny, what is this called? A paperweight that my best friend gave me. So her mother has passed away, but her mother used to collect paperweights, and she thought this was a funny paperweight to give me, but it's so heavy. It's really pretty, but a little odd, but we like it. Okay, now getting into the books. The first book we have is actually a book that I've already read, that I lent to my friend. I sent it to her, and then she has since read it. She thought it was okay. She's not much of a fiction reader. She's more of a nonfiction reader, and that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This is the only copy of this that I have. I would like to get a hardcover copy of this. That would be ideal. The next book that I see is Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. This book I first heard of on Bookish's channel, and I picked it up at a used book sale. This is one of the books that I brought with me to Ohio because I thought it would be fun to read a book about Ohio in Ohio. Did I read it while I was there? No. Good Night, Mr. Holmes by Carol Nelson Douglas is actually a book that I bought in 2023 when I went to Ohio, but it was the one of a few books that didn't fit in the package that my friend sent me that year because I bought so many books that I couldn't bring them home. So now I finally have it at home. The other book that was left over from 2023 is Incensed, a Taipei Night Market novel by Ed Lin. I've read one other novel by Ed Lin, which was This Is a Bust, and I loved it. So when I found this in Ohio, I definitely wanted to pick it up. This year in Ohio, I got The Dane Curse by Dashiell Hammett. This is a cool vintage cover, and this is a mystery, I guess. I don't know. I picked it up because it was Dashiell Hammett. It was cheap. It looked cool. Next we have Tunk by Lawrence Durrell. I don't know much about Lawrence Durrell or any of the Durrells as authors, but I have always wanted to read them, so I think I got this one in a little free library. Buff by Denise Smith is poems. This is a proof copy that I actually won in a Goodreads giveaway. It's interesting, mixed media poetry, and I was really interested in Denise Smith's other works, so I was happy to have won this one. I brought this one with me to Ohio, but I never got a chance to read it. In Ohio this year, I found Blue Ticket by Sophie McIntosh. I've only ever read one book by Sophie McIntosh before, and that was... what was that book called? The Water Cure. She did Cursed Bread this year, which was up for, or last year, which was up for a prize. This is the next book she wrote after The Water Cure. I'm really interested in all of her work. I enjoyed The Water Cure quite a bit. I actually lent my copy of The Water Cure to an old coworker who was then fired, and I never got that copy back. But this year I actually found another copy of it, and I have her second book as well. The Guide by Peter Heller I found at a Salvation Army in Ohio this year. I don't know much about Peter Heller. I think he writes like outdoor thrillers and specifically like very outdoorsy camping type suspense novels. This one seemed interesting, and I liked that it was kind of written in like small, not vignettes, but like there's a lot of gaps in the way it's written, and sometimes I find that to be interesting. So I thought I would give his books a try. I found First They Killed My Father, A Daughter of Cambodia Remembers. This was at the Volunteers of America thrift store in Brunswick, Ohio. This is a nonfiction about a story of a daughter of Cambodia. And I thought this was interesting because I don't know a lot about those wars and that time period, and so I thought it would be a good one to read. I first heard about Into the Forest by Jean Hegland on Books and Lala's channel, I think. I think she enjoyed this one, and it's just stuck with me, so I picked it up. This was mostly a cover buy. I don't remember what it's about at all, and this is Sing Nightingale by Marie-Helene Poitras, and it is translated by Rhonda Mullins. It is a Canadian imprint, so I'm guessing that this is translated from the French. It doesn't say what it was originally written in, but I'm pretty sure it's French. This one looks really interesting. It's a very pretty cover. I found Checkpoint 19 by Claire Louise Bennett in a Salvation Army, and this was obviously like a library copy. I don't remember what this one was about either, but I do remember that it was on my want to read list. Pretty sure that I got Momo by Michael End because it's my name, Momo, and because the cover kind of looks like Yellow Submarine version of Magritte's paintings. And then also, I'm pretty sure because this is the author of The Neverending Story. So I've never read The Neverending Story, but I do have that one. And I think it would be interesting to read another book that this author wrote. This was translated by J. Maxwell Brownjohn and was published in 1985. And then inside there's an inscription, and it says, Holiday 2013, to my favorite boss and wonderful and cherished friend, thank you for all your sweetness, compassion, and wisdom. This story is very dear to me, as are you. I hope it brings you joy like it has brought me. To Kim J. Love, Haley M. I don't know what it's about. It does have some cartoonish illustrations in it, so interesting. I'm excited to find out what it's about. A Touch of Innocence by Catherine Dunham, Memoirs of a Childhood. I've never heard of this one, but it sounded really interesting. It's like a young Black American's story about growing up. It's a memoir. It sounded pretty cool. I got it at that same Volunteers of America thrift store. Then I picked up Louise Erdrich's The Master Butcher's Singing Club. I have only read one Louise Erdrich, but I keep picking up her books. It's just hard to pass them up. Partly because she's such a renowned writer, partly because so many of the readers that I love, the booktubers that I love Louise Erdrich, but also just because I really enjoyed the one book that I read by her and I want to read more. Next we have The Bullet Journal Method, Track the Past, Order the Present, Design the Future by Ryder Carroll. I am a bullet journal person. I have been bullet journaling for over 10 years now, probably closer to like 15 years. and I was always interested in this book. I had it in my cart for a while. I thought about purchasing it, but I'm glad I never did because one, I bullet journal the way I bullet journal, and I don't know how much difference this is really going to make to me, but two, because look, I found it at a Salvation Army. The second to last, the penultimate book in this box is The Lion Women of Terrain by Marhan Kamali. I've never read any Marhan Kamali. I got this one in a very cool used bookshop. Ohio has these great used bookshops called the Bookshelf, where they get used books from donations or various places, and then they sell them, and all the proceeds go to adult literacy programs in Ohio. So that's very exciting. I love to go there. And this particular one was a branch that I had never been to before. It was in an old bank, which was really cool. And I got there and they were closing, like they were going to close early that day because there was a lot going on in the town and no one was coming in. So I felt really bad and I was like, well, I have to buy something. I saw this. It's a brand new book. It's an ARC. This one only was published in July. So its final copy was being published while I was in Ohio. So I thought it was a sign and I should pick it up. I have not read the other book that I have by her, but I do plan on reading both eventually. And then the last book for this Ohio book haul is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasuke. This is a sci-fi office drama about a man who gets sucked into Slack and who has to talk to his coworkers through Slack messages. So even though this book is like 300 pages, it's all told in Slack messages, and apparently it's very like meta, very sci-fi, and a lot of people really like this one. It was weird because there was a lot of copies at the thrift store where I got this one, so I don't know if it was like a office book club or something, but I'm super happy to pick it up. So those are all the books that I got in Ohio in 2024, a couple from 2023 even, a couple that I brought with me to Ohio to read, but I never had a chance to. But I'm glad to have finally finished this Ohio book haul. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned here. Let me know what you thought of them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!